Y'all, hey, welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for stopping by. Guess what, y'all? The new Nook is here and we're gonna get into it. We're gonna unbox it. We're gonna find out what's in the box. But before we get into all that, go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you can keep up with the shenanigans. While you do that, I'll take off this annoying outside box. We'll get into the inside box and figure out what we've got. There we have it, y'all, the Nook Glowlight 4 Plus. Now this is the first real upgrade to the Nook in years. Hopefully this is going to bring the Nook into sort of the modern e-reader era. So let's get into the box. So I wasn't going to do this video yet because I really don't know anything about the thing. But then I thought, you know what? Let's open it up. Let's see what it is. We'll sit down and talk about what we've got. And then I'll use it for a little while. And then I'll come back and do some comparisons. So first of all, first impressions. Inside the box, obviously, we have the tablet. So let me set that aside just for now and see what else is in here. The ubiquitous quick start guide. Charging cable, which is of course USB-C, as one would expect nowadays. And I think that's it for the box. Now, I don't want to say a whole lot about the device just yet. I'll come back once it's charged and updated and we'll go over all of the tech specs and all of that. But one thing that I do notice straight out of the gate, so here's the most recent Glowlight before this one, the Glowlight 4. And first, obviously, this is the Plus, so it's significantly bigger, but I would say more importantly, obviously not more importantly, but very importantly, the past iteration had this huge lip around the edge, like the bezel was, there was a big sort of difference between where the screen was and the bezel. So when you were trying to click something that was right there at the edge of the screen, it sounds silly, but it was really cumbersome. Like it was hard to get to buttons there. Y'all, this new screen is completely flush. There is no raised bezel. So to me, that's already a vast improvement. So let me take this screen protector off and see what we've got. So of course we already talked about the USB-C cord. There's the charging port is at the bottom. Power is on the side, so let's power her up. Oh, the front of the screen says press and hold the power button to get started. There she goes. Things are happening. Oh, y'all, it's pretty. Let's get started. I was so thrown off, y'all. I know my time zone, but I don't know why I see an Alaska at the top, like gave me pause. I don't live in Alaska. I don't know what just happened there. All right, let me get into this. Let me get it on the network. All right, of course it found the networks right away, so I put in my password. We are connecting. Let's just give it a second. I keep thinking I'm going to end this and go do other stuff, but I'm just so excited. We've been hearing about this device for a while, y'all. There were rumors starting back early in the summer that it was coming out, and then they let you pre-order it. But it actually came out when they said it would come out, and mine delivered about actually a little bit earlier than I thought it would. All right, now it's updating. Now I am actually going to stop. So let me jump off here. Let me plug this thing in, get it charged, get it updated, and then we'll come back. We'll talk about the specs. And y'all think about, what do you want to see? Do you want to see comparisons between this Nook and other Nooks? Do you want to know how it stacks up against the Kindle? Do you want to know how it stacks up against maybe the Kindle Scribe? Because this is going to be the, at least I expect it's going to be the sort of flagship luxury e-reader from Barnes & Noble. So that would be compared to the Scribe, even though the price tag isn't quite that of the Scribe, but we'll get into all of that. But start thinking about what kind of comparisons you want to see. We'll talk specs today, then I'll mess with it, see what I think about it, and then we'll come back on a subsequent video and compare this device to some other devices. All right, so y'all chill. Let me get into this thing, and then I'll come back and tell you what we've got. All right, friends, so I have spent some time with the Glowlight 4. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about the specs. I don't want to get too deep into the weeds, famous last words, as I head directly for the weeds, but I'm going to try to stay out of the weeds in this conversation and just talk about what it is, what it has, and what it can do. So of course, as we mentioned before, the Nook is Barnes & Noble's dedicated e-reader, and this is the latest one. The Glowlight 4 Plus. I don't remember what I told you when I took it out of the box because I was kind of like this, so let's just go over it. It's got a 7.8 inch screen, so that's the actual like readable screen. But the whole thing is a bit bigger than that. From side to side, it's 5.9 inches. It's about 8.1 inches from top to bottom, and it's about 0.3 inches thick. Now, y'all, that's a bit much. I like a big e-reader, but for a 7.8 inch screen, that's kind of a lot of real estate there. And I think the reason is that Barnes & Noble are big on symmetry, right? We've seen other e-readers, and I'm going to try really hard not to compare this to other e-readers, but we see other e-readers that are, I think, intentionally asymmetrical. Well, this one is symmetrical. You can see that the area around the bezel at the top and the bottom are the same, and on the sides it's the same, and it's kind of uniform all the way around. And I think that's why we end up with such a big e-reader, because they've got things that they have to sort of squeeze in there, right? We've still got the Nook button here at the bottom. We've got page turn buttons on the sides. We'll talk about all of that, but I think that causes them to have so much room all the way around because they want it to be symmetrical. So with that being said, let's jump in and talk about what this device has. First of all, it's got 32 gigabytes of onboard memory. Now of that, about 28 gigs is actual usable memory, and the other is used by like the operating system and all that. But y'all, 28 gigs of memory on a device that doesn't do video, it's pretty substantial. You can hold a whole lot of books and a whole lot of audiobooks on here with even just that 28 gigs of usable storage. The screen is a lovely 300 ppi e-ink Carta display, and it's 16 level grayscale, so we get a whole lot of detail in it. As I mentioned, we still have the page turn buttons on the side. We have the 2 buttons on each side, and we'll get into how we can map those buttons. There's a way that you can change them, but all that you can do is change them so that like your top buttons turn the page forward and your bottom buttons turn it backwards, or the top buttons go backwards and the bottom buttons go forward. There's nothing else that you can map these buttons to do, and you can't map them for like the left side to always go back and the right side to always go forward. I don't know why you would want to do that. Like, what kind of monster are you that wants 2 buttons on one side of a device to go one way and 2 buttons on the other side of a device to go the other way? But I say that jokingly, of course, because maybe somebody with some manual dexterity challenges would need that, right? Would need that whole big space to be able to hit to cause the reaction or the action that they want, right? So it might be nice, I'm sitting here correcting myself as I'm saying this, it might be nice to have this much space to be able to sort of aim at, to be able to move the page backwards or forwards, however you want it to. But anyway, all we can do right now is map them to go forwards or back, or backwards or forward. So that's the buttons, but it does have these big, lovely page turn buttons, and we still have the click on the buttons. Now with that being said, I'm going to jump ahead of myself because I'm going to talk about this later, but we still have the Nook button at the bottom. Now it's more of, I don't know what you call it. It's not a mechanical button anymore. It's more like sort of an on-screen thing. It's more like just touching something on a touchscreen. You don't have that click anymore of the N for the Nook button. I kind of miss that, I'm not going to lie. But anyway, so we still have our Nook button. We have Bluetooth, which we'll get into all of that too, but we also have a 3.5 millimeter jack, which I showed you when I unboxed, but again, I was so excited, I completely missed it, that we have USB-C, which we talked about, but we also have a 3.5mm jack so that you can plug in headphones or a speaker or something to listen to your ebooks. The device is waterproof. It's IP7X, so that's waterproof to 1 meter of depth for 30 minutes. So for you metric deficient folks out there, that's about 3 feet. So you can like drop it in the drink and pull it back out and you're good to go. Supposedly, again, it's 30 minutes. Y'all, I would not soak this thing in the drink to test it. You're welcome to. And if you do, let us know how it turns out for you, but I'm not testing that. And this, I know that I mentioned this when I took this out of the box because I was so excited about it. But here's another look at that flush screen. So we don't have the lip on this glow light that we had on the previous versions. So you don't have to worry about stuff getting up in it. And with it being waterproof, it's good at like the beach or places like that where you might get like sand or crumbs on your screen. You don't have to worry about them getting up into those edges, which I think is a huge improvement over past versions of this device. So I think that's it for the actual physical form factor of the thing. Let's get into what it can do. As I think I mentioned, there's a physical home button on the side. So we hit that to wake it up, swipe to unlock, and here's our screen. So let's just start with the home screen and work our way out. We have menus across the top, and if we hit, you can see right here, that little B, my Bluetooth is on, but that second thing right there is a little light bulb. If you hit that, that brings up your quick settings. And within your quick settings, you have Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, your glow light adjustment. You can turn your night mode on and off. Here, mine's off. Your volume, and then your battery monitor. So those are your quick settings. From here, you can go into your all settings, and that's what I want to go into and talk about what we can do from here. So within the all settings, at the top, we have the same things we had within our quick settings. This is just another way to get into those. But then we get into some more of the sort of juicy bits of the Nook. We go into our application settings, and the first thing we can go into is our library. And if we go in there, you see that there are a bunch of filters that you can set to adjust what you see when you go into your library. And y'all, this is pretty detailed. They give us a lot of options of what we can adjust within our library. You can see downloaded items only, annotated items. You can see your unread items. It can show or not show samples, show unsupported items, or show items on your shelves. And then you have some options here to control your series stacks. Back to that main menu, and we can go into the reader options. This is what I was talking about, where we can change the options on our page turn keys. So within reader, that's all that we can do right now. But y'all, I'm hopeful. If you've been watching my videos for a little minute, you know that I have the Kindle Scribe. And when the Scribe first came out, Amazon told us that they were going to update the software as we went along, and I believed them, y'all, and sure enough, they've updated. So I'm believing that within this Reader tab, Barnes & Noble is going to add more options for us to adjust and control our e-reader. I don't know. I'm making that up, y'all, but I'm believing they're going to do it. Here we can also control our downloads and storage. We also have kind of a bunch of things we can do within here. We can clear our cache. There's our storage download. We can manage how we download and store audiobooks, what we do with our automatic downloads. And then if we go to the second page within this submenu, we can control how we automatically either move content to the cloud or automatically archive content. So there's kind of a lot that we can do within this downloads and storage. There's the My Account tab you can go to. And then if we go to the next page, within the settings menu, we can go to the screen tab, and this is just to control how long your screen stays on before it times out, and then time, and y'all, that's literally just the time. That's your time settings. And then some stuff within support, and then here you can erase and deregister your device. So that's it for settings. Let's get out of there and head back to the library. So this is, of course, where you'll spend most of your time, or at least the point from which you'll navigate most of the time. Now within the library, you have your titles, right? This is where all of your books are. And if they're downloaded, you'll see them on here. And if they're not downloaded and it's downloadable, you'll see this little arrow and you hit that and it just downloads it to your device. The Nook also has shelves, which I haven't set up any shelves. My Nook is not a happy Nook because it's not an organized Nook, but you can organize content within your Nook on these shelves. And then wherever you navigate yourself to, if you hold the Nook button down, it takes you back to your library. I think did I mention this before? I know I told you the Nook button is no longer a physical button, but you still have to give it kind of a good little squeeze. And if you hold it down, I think it's, I don't know, like 5 seconds or something, that turns your glow light off and on, which I figured that out by trial and error on my past glow light. But anyway, so that's your library. I'm going to skip the store for now and come back to it. This little book thing in the middle just takes you to the most recent thing that you had open. I'm still in Vampirates, y'all. So I'm going to go back. And again, you got to give it a good little squeeze. Readouts. This is where you can go to blogs and excerpts. So they'll give you excerpts from books or blogs that you can read about books. And then here they give you serial reads. And y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that they release, it's like a chapter a day or a chapter a week of the current read. And you can go back to past titles and read serial reads that they've released in the past. But those I think you might have to buy. I'm not really sure how their serial reads work. Yeah, those are. But I think the current read you can read for free, one chapter at a time as they release them. So that's down there at the bottom. And then there's your search. And you have the full keyboard. Now, it's not very quick. So as you're typing, it'll catch up to your typing, but you just got to give it a little second. So that's that. I'm not going to, y'all know how searches work. I'm not going to go into all that. Let's talk about the store. This has changed now because, did I even mention, I think I did mention, that you can listen to audiobooks on this Nook. This is the first Nook that's had audiobook support. So, here's how it works. You can either shop for ebooks or audiobooks. And you might have heard I just turned on my speaker. So of course I've already paired this speaker with my glow light, and you can see it right there. And it shows up there that it's connected and turned on. So now I can go into my audiobooks. And y'all, I'm just going to play a short sample because, of course, I don't have rights to play this and I don't want to be stealing someone else's intellectual property. So I'm just going to play it for a second so you can hear it.
The city is baking.
But
the asphalt sizzles. The trash on the sidewalk reeks.
It's fairly responsive. Sorry, I don't know if that was too loud. I turned it down on my speaker.
Shrink with every step.
But you can also, I really don't want to play that too long. So you can control the volume either on your device.
Meanwhile, even 5
So obviously I can control it on my Bluetooth speaker, or you can set the volume inside your Nook. So that's pretty handy. But it's nice to have a Nook that finally has audiobook support. Now, of course, there's no speaker in the Nook, but you can connect Bluetooth, or there's the 3.5mm jack where you can plug in a speaker. Y'all, I don't think I own a speaker that plugs into something anymore. I should have asked the intern. He's probably got one. But you get the idea. So I think that's a huge improvement over past Nooks, because even though I'm not likely to use it, it's just nice to have that option to listen to an ebook on the Nook. Barnes & Noble also has an ebook subscription service that's right now anyway, it's free for the first 30 days and then it's $14.99 a month after that. So I might try it free for 30 days and just see what I think. I've got Audible for Amazon, so I might try the Barnes & Noble one as well and maybe, I don't know, compare them, just see what I think. But anyway, so that's available through Barnes & Noble for audiobooks, and then you can listen to them on the new Glowlight 4. So y'all, I think that's it. I think that's all I've got for now on the new Nook Glowlight 4. Those are my basic first thoughts on it. I'm going to use it for a while and formulate some actual opinions of it. But so far, I really like it. I feel like it's sturdy. I like the weight in my hand. I like the size of it. But again, if you've been watching me for a little minute, you know that I like big e-readers. I love the Scribe. I like the Oasis. I like the Paperwhite. So to me, this is not a big e-reader, but I do see where for the size of the actual reading screen, I can see where people might complain about the size of the reader. So anyway, those are my thoughts on the new Nook Glowlight 4. What do y'all think? Let me know in the comments. Do you have one? Are you getting one? Do you care at all that this thing even exists? And did I miss anything? If so, if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. Y'all, thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you made it this far, we're most definitely friends. So go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you can keep up with the shenanigans. I upload food and fitness videos at the beginning of every week with some book videos sprinkled in between. See you on the next one.